Hello and welcome to episode 26 of You Might Want to Sit Down for This Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Von Helvent. This podcast comes to you from the traditional territory of the unceded Coast Salish territory of the Katzie, Kwalin, Makwi, and Stolo people. On today's episode, which will be the last episode before Christmas, Jesus' birthday, a day we all revel in the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Also a day Santa Claus breaks into your house and brings you something good or brings you a lump of coal, depending on if you're a piece of shit or a good human, the last year. And also the end of the year, the end of 2021, which I think most people would agree has been a pretty fucked up, shitty year. There's been some good things, of course, and but it's been rough. It's been rough. Let's hope 2022 we can finally kind of get back to more normalcy and get past this stupid COVID shit and restrictions and I'm over it. And I'm sure you are too. But the nice thing is, for this final interview of 2021, we have a really happy, positive, energetic, just rad dude named Tim Bogdachev, also known as Russian Tim, from the punk amazing band Russian Tim and the Pavel Bures. Russian Tim and Pavel Bures. This guy fucks me up because he's hilarious. I don't know if it's a purposeful Russian accent or if he just kind of fucks with the words a little bit just for effect. Either way, he's a funny man, and I had fun doing this interview with him, and I hope you have fun listening to it and you enjoy it, and it brings joy, cheer into your lives at this time of year where we all need some love and some happiness and some kindness, and it's a good time to give that out as well. I'm going to confess right now, my first intro that I recorded was for this. This right here, I did this yesterday after more than a few mimosas, let's just say that, which you wouldn't think would be something that would get somebody aggro, but I got a little aggro and I started lighting up some, basically a troll. So I've got I get comments and likes and all that stuff. There's a YouTube channel, of course, you might want to sit down for this podcast. And then I'm not sure about the audio. I haven't seen any of the comments or anything on there, but I look through the YouTube stuff and I'll respond. And I'm grateful for everyone who leaves a comment or gives a like or follow, all that stuff. It's great. When that happens, it helps build this podcast up, get it to more people. And hey, I'll admit it, I'm learning as I go. I started this thing in April. I never was one to interview people. I was always one being interviewed. So it's been a little switcheroo, change of seats, if you will. But yeah, so I'm going to ask you that feel free to comment, but this fucker pissed me off because rather than give constructive criticism, which someone else has, on the interview with Ron Don Wheelock, who's the Gringo Shaman, I had a great time interviewing Ron. He's a sweet, nice guy. Check that out if you're diving back into podcasts over the holidays. Ron Don Wheelock. He does ayahuasca retreats down in the Amazon. He's a very wise man. And I got one a while ago saying, I should probably kind of shut up and listen and ask more questions, which definitely I'm I need to do that. You're right. I'm learning as I go. I appreciate that feedback. But this next guy was just kind of a dick about it. I think his name was Googleplex, which I don't know who has a fucking stupid name like that. I should have just known. He's a jackass. Pretty much telling me it was a waste opportunity. And it pissed me off because you know what? I'm sitting here. I'm working my ass off on this thing. I don't get paid. Haven't been paid a cent ever. Put upwards 20, 30 hours into every episode. And you, the listener, gets to consume those for free. And I hope you enjoy them. If you don't fucking listen. Listen to something else. Start your own podcast and interview the people that you want to interview. So yeah, this fucking douche, Googleplex, goof, or whatever his name is, he got me fired up. And it's If you want Pulitzer Prize award-winning journalism, throw in 60 Minutes, fuckface. This is a punk rock fucking podcast. I record in a little studio that I made in my condo whenever I have the time. But I don't want to waste any more time on that douchebag, though I will say, I think it's important, to tell people to fuck off every once in a while. I've always tried to be like very diplomatic and sort of, actually maybe not, but in more recent years. But it's like, I think as I do more comedy, you kind of get hecklers, you get chirpers, you've got these stupid people on Facebook who chirp you. And it's probably not good practice to engage. But at the same time, I think we all can agree it feels great to tell some fucking idiot that they're a fucking idiot and tell them to ram it up their ass and go fuck themselves, like googly-eyed cocksucker, gobble, dump, plex, whatever his fucking name was. So that's all I'm really going to say about that. I'm all about the transitions here, the positive energy, obviously. And it is the time of year where we all need to try to be more kind and generous with our time and with our hearts, and reach out to people you haven't maybe spoke to in a while. Find forgiveness for people that you love. Maybe there's been a rift going on and you just don't know where people are at. And this is a time of year that can be a struggle for a lot. And we recently had a death in not just Hank from Turbo Negro, but one of our Turbo Yugen brothers from the Canadian prairies took his own life, and it's hurt a lot of us. And just a shout out to Brendo and his family and everyone. And I think nobody knows what's going through people's heads when these kinds of things happen. Maybe we try to, but and not saying anyone could have done anything differently, but we do need to look out for each other and have each other's backs and show more love and show more empathy and show more understanding. Unless the person's a piece of shit, then tell them to go fuck themselves, like googly-eyed novel gobbler. I think that's about it. I just want to give a shout out to all of the different like Fat Records for letting us use your tunes here on this podcast for the last year. Comedy or Often Network for hosting the podcast. Alexi for doing all the work on the audio. And like this episode, we actually went into the studio. She was there. So she sent me a rad little video clip. You might check it out on YouTube. There's 3 squares. We've got a 3-square interview going on, 3 camera. And it was fun to have her. I look forward to doing maybe more stuff live with her in the back, because she chimes in with some good shit. Me and my punk rock friends are just going on and on and on about music like a bunch of nerds, a couple of punk rock nerds. So yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to everyone who has followed, who's listening, who's been viewing, who's been sharing, who's been supporting. Definitely appreciate you. Could not do this without you. And the plan is to keep on going. So yeah, stay on board. We've got some great guests coming up in 2022. And I think last but not least, I should say thank you to all of the guests that have been on in the last 9 months. I thank you for your time, for your vulnerability, for your willingness to share your stories, and some of them tricky stories to share with some kind of painful details and trauma and things that you've been through that were quite personal. So I'm grateful for everybody who came on here and gave us your time and gave us your voice and gave us your story and did it free of charge. So thank you for that. All right, we're gonna kick into this episode with Russian Tim and the Pavel Bures. Russian Tim and Pavel Bures, keep fucking that up. They've got a new album coming out just came out called Something More in Russian. We're gonna blast a tune from that on here. The one I'm really feeling these right now is a 6 song called Unforgiven 61. So I'm guessing that's probably what you're going to hear at the end of this podcast. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Party safely. In all ways. Look out for one another. Be good humans. Love you all. Thanks so much. Here with Russian Tim from Russian Tim and the Pavel Bures, who just put a brand new album called Something More in Russian.
Correct.
How you doing, bro?
Life is great. Thank you so much for having me here. This is fantastic.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for having me. I don't know, having me in the parking lot. Thanks for shagging me in the parking lot, Tim.
No problem.
We're off to a good start. You're looking good, man. I was saying that I'm impressed that you match, like you're matching your album.
Exactly. Well, like I said, I'm an energetic, brightful person. This is a bright album. Our band is energetic and bright, so let's color code and coordinate.
You are a very energetic band, man. Like I saw you the other night opening for Lagwagon. That was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, that was insane. Absolutely insane for us, for a few immigrants and somebody who just grew up listening to punk rock and to like Lagwagon and just to play the same show and play the stage.
Is that, would you say it's your biggest band you've opened for now? Like
Well, you also saw us opening for Mad Caddies.
I've seen you open for Caddy. Yeah.
And your granny did.
And my grandma. You are my grandma's favorite punk rock
and
band.
She's our favorite fan.
Yeah.
Of the age of 60 plus.
90 plus too. She just turned 98. And she loves you because you'd have a cover of Rasputin.
Yeah. Rasputin.
Yeah. Which is like our family song. Even though we're Estonian, she shares the love for the Russian Tim.
She has a good taste.
Yes, she does. How did you come up with the name Russian Tim and the Pavel Bures? Not a Vladimir fan?
No. So when I moved to Canada, I started doing a radio show on CITR, and I came up with the name, which Rocket from Russia.
Yeah,
I'm from Russia. One of the crucial Ramones punk albums is called Rocket to Russia.
Yes.
And obviously Pavel Bure, who is the Russian Rocket. So there's a few things that kind of click together. So I came up with the name from Rocket from Russia. And once we started the band, the transition from Rocket to Russia for Russian Tim and Pavel Bure was very seamless.
I never made that connection.
That's why I'm here.
This guy knows what's up, man. The album, was that a COVID baby? Was there a plan to record, or were you guys...
There was a rough plan. There was some studio time booked, but when we've realized what was happening in kind of March, April, May, we saw, okay, this thing is probably going to have legs, so let's use that time while nothing is happening. So we went to the jam space a few times, kind of sort of finished songs. The key was because we had to do it, and we usually do it like that, but because of COVID, we had to do it one by one. So drums first, then bass, then all the guitars and everything else. So the key was just to sort out the drums. So at least we have the song structure, and then we kind of can add stuff on top. So a couple songs really like they weren't finished, and if we would have had more time, probably we would have done a little bit more, like maybe interesting, better, or whatever. But it was 100% COVID baby. Started recording in June 2020, finished tracking in fall of 2020.
Nice.
So when it was all,
I think we're gonna get a lot of music, and it's it's a rad album. Yeah. I think that's one bonus of the COVID frickin' thing, is that we're gonna get. That's a mix of frickin' and fucking. I almost held back for once there. Gonna get hopefully a lot of music and art in that downtime. What else do you do, right?
Exactly. And I don't really write songs, but through that period, I wrote like the whole next album. Like write songs. Like I have the melody, I have the lyrics, but I never used to do that. I had nothing to do. So I was like, oh, let's try doing this. Let's try coming up with like new songs and all that stuff. Same thing with this album is because we had so much time. We took the time.
Yeah.
I took the whole month of recording and I said, give me all the instrumentals. I'll take it to the jam space and I'm going to try to practice singing and figure out my ideas. That was great because I had the whole month. I came up with a whole bunch of back vocals and like harmonies and all that stuff. And again, because I had this month of doing nothing.
Nice.
That was the focus. So yeah, you're absolutely right. The COVID baby album.
Yeah. And the band, they're in the same situation where they're inspired to write and Are they all? Is everyone Russian in the?
Yeah, like two of us, me and bassist Ilya, we're Russian. Julia, guitarist, and Sergey, they're a couple. They're from Belarus, from Minsk. And Christy is the only normal Canadian person. She is from Montreal.
Yeah.
And
well, Montreal's that's not normal. Like, yeah, right. Yeah, yes.
we all a little bit crazy.
Yeah, you got a little bit of an accent and some culture.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, it's a good mix, man.
So yeah, it's a very eclectic group of people.
It comes together well.
You saw us.
I like the girls, like the background vocals and the screams. Those are, I don't know, man. There's something in there. Like it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks. Yeah, that was again, like I think that's our strong side. Both Christy and Julia, both good singers. They also like sing and like they do all those like backups. It's super fun.
Yeah, man. And you sing mostly in Russian. I've been listening to your tunes.
Yeah. It was a calculated risk which we've taken as a band. My Russian is better than my English, as you'll probably hear on this podcast. But we decided to sing in Russian. This is different. I'm comfortable doing that. And we decided, okay, we have to compensate it with something. People will look at us like we're crazy. So on purpose, we're energetic. We come up with a good energy. We do silly, coordinated dance move, jumps. Yes. We have lots of heys, and we overdo it on purpose because we want the audience to participate in the show, but they can say something like in Russian, something more in Russian. So we overcompensate with heys, whoas, clap, claps, and the other stuff.
I was, because I'm listening, and I mean, I'd say 95% is in Russian.
Yeah.
And I don't speak Russian. But I'm like, I still dig it. So like it seems like a gamble. Is there a big Russian population here in Vancouver?
No, like I would say.
Like you said it was a risk, right?
Calculated risk with 80% of our audience being normal Canadian people who don't speak our Russian, but somehow they have fun.
Yeah, man. Well, I know at the Lagwagon show, I will confess, I didn't realize you guys are playing. I didn't even go the night before. I'm getting old coming out from Surrey, but I'm glad I did. I caught a bit of your show, but I saw a video, I think it was a friend of yours posted, and everybody was seated because it was a seated show. It was like a theater with like bolted down seats, and you got everybody up. And I mean, by the time I got in there was fucking energy, man. People were hyped up. They're being crowd surfs, which I thought was amazing. Yeah. Considering there was like bolted down seats that could have ended really poorly for crowd surfing and landing on a seat like that. But you guys got the energy, man.
Yeah. I'm happy to say, I'm proud to say, yeah, we have that. And to me, it's always a challenge, especially like the first time we played on stage, like Vogue Theater. Yeah. It's we usually play on smaller stages, being a punk rock band. But that was one of the things which I thought about it. Like people will be sitting. We always, when we have a normal circumstances, we have a dancing audience, punk rock dancing, but still the energy is there. So to me, that was one of the challenges. I was like, I'm gonna rock the show, and I'll make them dance. And fifth song of the set, they were all going bananas. Yeah,
man. It's awesome that it's actually on video. Do you know where, is it on your
Yeah, it's on the Instagram page.
Because you can see it, like just like slowly, everyone starts getting up, and then it's on.
But it's also thanks to my friend who is his name is Leonid. He really likes the song, and when we started playing, he ran in the front, and then people were saying, "Oh, you're the troublemaker, you who set it up." But he really likes the song, and he was rocking out, and the people slowly, "Oh, if he's doing that, I can do it." And now like, "Hey, clap, hey, dance," and that's how it started.
It needs to, I don't know. I went into it as a man who always sits down thinking this is going to be lame if everybody's sitting down. Like, and not just because like, that's my thing, but like, you got to be standing up at a punk show. You got to be dancing, moving, kind of mingling around. So it's cool you got that going, man.
Yeah, we already played quite a few sit down shows since the whole shithousery started in March 2020. So we played Lana Luz, which was in July 2020. That's when just first they opened up a little bit. That was weird. Like they gave me this plastic glass, and I couldn't see people. I was see the reflection of myself.
Because the glare and the light,
and it was like self masturbation show because I was watching myself and going like this. Couldn't see really the people, and they were sitting and they were like eating. And we did 2 shows. The first one was, they both were all ages, but first one was focused for friends with kids. There's a whole bunch of kids running around going crazy, and I'm just like, watching this, people sitting, watching myself. And then the second place was the, the older audience, the drinkers. And again, they were slowly moving, but I was just like, had this like spitting in this plastic thing, and it was weird, but it's better than nothing.
So did you have you could see your reflection? Actually?
Only see the reflection. And the way the lighting was set up, I would 70% see myself, and if I look, I see some people. And it was like a massive thing, and I was just like, and I don't know, I also didn't want to make it weird for people, because like, if I'm going outside and spitting, it was just, middle of pandemic. I didn't want to do that. So I was just watching for myself for like 2 sets. Looked pretty good to myself, but I like watching other people too.
I was going to, because I was thinking that, because maybe you've seen video of yourself, but you're probably like, hey, that's a good move. I'm going to do that. Or like, I don't know if I'll do that again. Correct. Did you need a squeegee to wipe your spit off the glass?
No, just slowly going
just
down.
That's punk rock, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was interesting. After the set, I think somebody probably wiped it. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that was the first show. Now, luckily, I don't play in front of the plexiglass, and it's great.
Yeah, that's weird. Like some of the stuff that people came up with for COVID, just in hindsight, you're like, doesn't really make sense, I guess, or whatever. But we just kind of went through it and did what you got to do, right?
Exactly. It was like, like you have to adapt. It was lots of new stuff, lots of new things. But yeah, we did what we got to do. Look at us now. We're all back stronger.
It's coming, man. That show the other night felt like the one back. Like I'm like, all right, we're there. Like it was exciting. Yeah. And there's a magic in the club, and just afterwards, the whole night, that everybody was just stoked. That it was like, because I think I kind of put it out of mind just how much I miss shows, because you couldn't go. So why stress about it or worry about it?
Yeah.
Be grateful the ones I saw, but then to go back, I think was like a way to go like, oh fuck, I really missed.
Exactly.
Because it's a whole thing. There's a whole scene here in Vancouver, which you're obviously a huge part of, man, with like Rocket from Russia and that. But we're all like friends or acquaintances or know each other, at least a nod. So it's
exactly. It was so like still to this day, even the shows are slowly coming back. I still see people I haven't seen in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen you like probably like that's the first time I saw you.
Yeah.
It was in like last weekend, and you see these people are saying hi, you talking. It's so awesome. Like it's just nice to see your peers from the scene, from the punk rock.
Fuck yeah, dude. Have you ever counted how many calories because you must burn a lot of calories on stage. Like you're running on the spot.
Plus, I'm a very sweaty male. And then sometimes after the show, people, that was so awesome. It's like, are you sure you want to hug me? Like I'm very sweaty. So yeah, that's a good dietary,
Yeah, I feel like if you kind of muted the Russian Tim punk rock and put in like 80s sort of like
a workout
techno,
video?
It would look like a workout video. It probably would.
Well, maybe that's something for us to consider down the road. That's actually a good idea for a music video.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
All right. And maybe we'll film it here at 6:04.
Yeah.
With Alexi. What's up, Alexi?
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I guess I should. If people didn't notice, this obviously isn't my home in Surrey. We're in 604 Records recording this one. So it's exciting. We've got the wonderful Alexi I was here about.
Thanks. Always hear about, never see.
Behind the board, yes. When did you move to Vancouver? Did you say that, or?
I moved in 2006.
So you born in Russia?
Yeah, born in Russia, lived till the age of 22. I finished university there, school, and then once I was done with all that, moved here.
Were you playing punk rock in Russia?
Yeah, I was in a punk band. We did this like Operation Ivy Rancid kind of like ska punk thing. Yeah. No horns, but just like fun. Same thing, very energetic, very danceable, and we did it for a few years, and then we finished, recorded the album, and I moved here.
What's what was the band called?
Привидение с мотором.
Oh,
helpful, yeah?
Yeah, all right. No fucking chance. Привидение с мотором.
Not bad.
All right.
Привидение с мотором.
Привидение с мотором.
Oh, professional.
Boom. All right. So
learning Russian on the fly.
All that vodka I drink with my grandma, maybe that's... What's the punk scene like in Russia? Whereabouts in Russia were you, for starters?
Novosibirsk, that's in Siberia, like middle of
You're in Siberia?
Siberian man.
I'm so intrigued by Russia, man. It's so vast. And like, yeah, Siberia feels like it's
very remote, is it?
It is. It is 4-hour flight from Moscow, and pretty much the same to the other part of the country. It's the place where they used to send criminals or some bad people. So I have this.
Yeah, my
joke.
family, you motherfucker.
So I'm saying
That's why I'm surprised my grandma likes you.
well, but we're from the same spot, and I always say I'm a descent of bad people, which you know, which is proper. So punk scene in Russia, obviously not at the same level as North America. And to me, as naive as it sounds, when I was considering moving to Canada, one of the things was I want to live in a place where I can see NOFX every year.
Yeah.
I've lived here 14 years and I've seen them 14 times. So fuck, they have to come back so I can keep track.
The nice thing is they play usually twice when they come through here. So you can
there was the years I skipped for both nights. I'll calculate this as well.
Did you, I'm trying to remember how long ago it was, because I know they played the Commodore.
Last time was Punk and Drublic.
Was it? Yes, which I remember seeing you there.
Yeah.
But they played the Commodore and they played the Decline one time. Were you at that show?
That was crazy. That was my first time seeing NOFX, and that was my first time living in Canada when NOFX came to Vancouver. And there, I said, I'm going to all. So I went to Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver. Yeah. And this is the first time when they did Decline at every show. Yeah. So I seen Decline 3 times in a row at the first NOFX shows. I was losing it.
Yes. For Alexi and anyone else not knowing what the fuck we're talking about right now that didn't realize, this is a really punk episode we're doing. NOFX is a punk band. If you don't know who that is, then I don't even know what the fuck to tell you. But they have an album called The Decline that's like 18 something minutes long.
21 seconds.
And it's just like, I remember getting that when it came out. I was a late teenager, maybe early 20s, being like, what the fuck? This is one song? And not really buying into it at first. But now it's just like legendary because it is one fast song with so many sound changes, or like, I guess sound changes, style changes.
Yeah.
For them to play that live after a full show and do an encore is insane. To play it live, I think, period, you're a musician, would be very difficult, let alone, at the end of that show.
Exactly, yeah. And 18 minutes of consistent playing is tough.
Yeah,
and it's fast.
It is a fast song. And that was one where I ended up getting booked for just something I could not. It was like a national conference to speak at, and I ended up giving the tickets away. Oh. So I'm glad you got to see it, because I still haven't had a chance to see.
Sorry about show. Not how I said. Being cool that I saw it 3 times.
Hey man, I'm happy someone saw it. I'm happy. I'm not going to be bummed I did. I'm stoked you did, and I will one day, hopefully. But I noticed in one of your songs, I didn't take notes. I was listening while I was driving, actually driving around, which was good. It was good tunes, man. And there was one song that kind of kicked into the Decline.
Yeah. We do that. We insert little parts of the songs we like. For the real fans of punk rock to notice. Some people, like maybe your granny, not gonna recognize the Decline from in one of our songs.
My grandma loves the Decline.
Really?
Yes. No. Maybe, I don't know.
But yeah, we do that. We do a few we call it references. We do Decline. We do Generator, Bad Religion, Time Bomb, Atas, something else. But like we put.
You do Rancid. Is Rancid's like, is it Time Bomb? Did you say that?
Time Bomb, yeah. That's like the organ solo.
I noticed that because you got a lot of different instruments and stuff going on in your music too, man. It's cool.
Yeah. Thanks.
I like that. I like those nods, and they are definitely like, I guess in a movie, do they call those Easter eggs or something like that? If they're just right, it's kind of like that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So you listen. Okay, so there's some crazy Russian singing something in punk rock. Oh, there's a 5 seconds I recognize. Okay, let's go back to Russian speaking band.
And you know what, man? This is a genius part of it too. Is that so? There's an against me nod.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, for whatever, I knew it. And I'm like, fuck, I know that. And I'm like, I can't put my finger on who it is.
This has worked. This is exactly why we do it.
Did you think?
This is 100% worked.
Yeah. So I went grocery and I'm like, fuck. And I'm slowly like, cause I'm like, how am I going to go through when I had an iPod, I had 40,000 songs or something. Like there's no way you could just randomly and try to find it. So I a little bit more, and then I'm starting to get a bit of like the chorus. I'm grocery shopping. I can't it's like just driving me nuts. And I'm like, that's smart. Cause I went back and then I had to listen to the song again. Then I listened to the song again.
It worked.
So it was strategic.
Oh, absolutely.
Fucking brilliant.
Like I said, we do those like it's the Easter eggs for fun, but this is that's not the reason I was like, because that's the Miami song.
Yeah.
And then like it's not the most popular song, so it's not like an obvious one. So I want people to like dig and like, oh, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and I think what threw me off too is it's got horns. It's and like you would never like. I was like, I know this is kind of a ska, or not even ska, but it's got horns. But I'm like, I know this isn't like. First, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like Suicide Machines or it's gonna be Caddies because you would think it's got horns, right? And I'm like, no, it's not. Fuck. It was so hard to figure it out.
Nice.
Yeah,
strategy worked. Great.
It very much did.
Great success.
I'm curious about Russia. So is it like, I mean, I feel like I don't know a lot about Russia. I feel like we don't hear a lot about Russia here. I feel like what we do hear about Russia, it's kind of negative.
Shitty,
it's through a different lens, Cold War kind of old school shit and whatnot.
Yeah.
Is it like, I feel like it'd be a sketchy place to be, or is it like have a punk band? I think of like Pussy Riot, who were like imprisoned for speaking out against the government, I think, and stuff like that. Like,
exactly. Especially right now. Well, I can tell you two stories. One story, which was from 2006, when we went to play in a city nearby, and for some reason they had skinheads, like the radical right-wing skinheads, working as the securities. I don't know how they hired it. So we're playing the show, and we're playing for like, teenagers and just like the early 20s kids. And then there's a bunch of like skinheads just run out and start like moshing, and you see just little kids flying. So we see, holy shit, like I see what's going on.
Yeah.
We're skipping songs like one by one from the set list. And
just
then
trying to be done so that it ends.
So like this whole thing finishes at the same time. There's some people who came to see us. So it's like, we can't really just. And again, they stopped, so we quickly finished the set. And then the organizer runs back. Hey, listen, I have bad news. There's 40 skinheads waiting for you to get kick the shit. We want
to fight you outside.
So yeah, all the punks, they don't care who it is. They just want to.
They're just there to shit kick.
So that we have to escape. And then the only way was to jump out of the second floor window with instruments. Like we had guitars on it. Yeah. So we had to jump out. It isn't too far, but it's still like a human high jump. Yeah. And then somehow we ran and we ended up on railroad tracks, which were blocked off from the city. So we had to walk for probably about an hour just to get back, because like that was how the railway tracks were there. So
that's gnarly, man.
And like watching kids just being like beaten up with those massive skinheads. Yeah. So that's a part of the punk rock experience. It's not always like that. There's amazing shows. There's great people. But back then in the early 2000s, that was the case. The Nazis were all over the place. Skinheads, football fanatics. Yeah.
And I mean, crazy thing is like, I think early 80s and into the 90s, even you could have that in the USA and probably Canada as well, right? Those fucking Nazis always trying to ruin punk shows.
Yeah.
Bastards.
So that's one story. The other story, again, I don't want to shit on Russia. It's my country. I grew up. I
don't want you to shit on Russia at all.
But I don't want to come across, because I'm, like I said, I love the country and love the people, but there are some poor things. For example, there's one leader of the opposition party to the Putin's, the whole shebang. Yeah. So he was chemically poisoned through like a chemical weapon. Then somehow he survived. He was sent out to Germany to recover. Took him a couple months to recover. On the way back, he was arrested and put to prison for a few years.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. So that's what I was thinking. Like, I mean, I don't know Putin personally. I imagine you don't, but it feels like I don't really give a shit about politics, but I could be like, fuck Trudeau, and there'll be no repercussions. Or people have bumper stickers on their vehicle with a huge fuck Trudeau. I don't imagine you're driving around Russia or on a podcast saying, I don't even want to, Putin come here and fuck me up. Like, I'll just be like, I meant fuck poutine, like the food gives me diarrhea. But like it's different.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, man.
At the same time, to bring something positive, Russians we could be perceived as cold people, and sometimes we are. But if we like you, and we have the saying, I'm going to give you my last shirt, because we are so welcoming. We just had 3 years ago the World Cup, and every visitor said Russians are so welcoming. We want to show the country. We want to make you welcome. We have that. We really, really do. And like, there's so many amazing people who like go above and beyond just to make the guests welcome. And we have this amazing quality.
I believe that, because just knowing you, you're like a warm, welcoming dude, man. Like you're just like full of love. You're just a kind human.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I remember I met a couple of Russians at a Russian couple at the Rainbow down in West Hollywood, just at the Lemmy Memorial, basically drinking beers, and stayed in touch. And like they still message me like, when are you coming to Russia? And I'm like, that was kind of right before COVID and stuff, right?
Yeah,
but just really, really kind people for sure.
Exactly. We have that.
And
Again,
vodka.
Huh?
And good vodka.
Quality product.
All right, give me a minute here. Do you have any more questions? Jesus fucking Christ. No. Oh yeah, let's talk about the Rocket from Russia festival.
Yeah, that's the festival which has been going on since 2017. I've been doing it I've been trying to do like shows where I combine a whole bunch of different bands together for as long as I've been doing shows. But then in 2017, we formed it in a festival. It started with a 2-day festival back then at the Media Club, and it grew since. And the whole idea is just the celebration of local scene to get as many around punk rock local bands, and just really to have a good fun party of all having a good time, but also to showcase how great and how different local scene is. So there's bands, and that's the whole idea, the celebration of local scene and showcasing it, and for us to have fun, because usually like we all get together and it's all this great party. And
there is a really, I sort of growing up, I don't know how about you, I'm 42, coming on 43 soon. So teenager, 90s, sort of the whole skate, punk, epitaph, fat, all that great music, which I know you obviously love to. There was so much music out there. I didn't really pay attention to like the local scene. And I just kind of didn't, I don't know, man. I would, just drink beers in the pub before the show and skip the headliners more often than not. And then started to get introduced to some of the local bands here. You guys, bands like Bishop's Green, who are fucking amazing. Rebel Spell, Rip Todd, but like there are Rest Easies. Yeah. Like there's a lot of great music, and like metal. There's so much good music here in Vancouver. There's an awesome scene.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think there's a few reasons for that, but really like there's so many good bands, which I think, could be bigger if they want to. Not if they want to. They have that quality that could put them on the world punk map.
Just got to be heard and seen, found, right?
But that's kind of the idea of the festival. Let's get together, and the festival has been going on every year. Obviously, we didn't do it for the past couple of years for obvious reasons, but for the past couple of years, people coming from the Okanagan, from Alberta, just to see, and they're like, you have a cool scene. So like, I'm hoping that will grow, and then we will show we have a crazy, awesome scene here. Yeah.
Are you hopeful thinking maybe be able to do one this?
It's booked for July and August.
It is?
It's already booked at the Vice Hall.
Did you already tell me that? I don't know. Did you already tell me that?
I don't know.
Okay, good.
That's got confirmed like a few days ago. So maybe.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so see, this is the exclusive material you get on this podcast.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, it's all booked as long as we can have it, but looks like we should be able. So it's going to be a 4-day festivals, 2 weekends back to back. Probably, 25 bands.
It's so cool, man.
So we'll see. Should be fun.
It's gonna be a party.
Correct.
All right. Well, where do people find the new album?
It's available on all the digital services, for Spotify's, all that stuff, and we have records for sale at our shows. You can buy the Neptune records, and you can order it from Russian Tim and Pavel Bures on Bandcamp.
Do you have any shows coming up?
We have an album release show, which will take place on November 20th, on Saturday. And then we playing at the Vice Hall, an event, Christmas Rager Christmas show on December 17th.
Oh, sick. Where's the one on the 20th?
Fox Cabaret.
Fox Cabaret. Cool.
You invited.
Yeah, dude, I'll go.
You and Grandma.
Grandma? I'll ask Grandma. Is it, I've never been in that theater. Have you been in there? Is it sweet?
Yeah, it's a perfect place for a medium, small size, 150 to 250 people show. It's perfect.
Is it theater seated too?
Wait, they have to do it now, but normally no.
No?
It's the great thing about it, because it's I think it's a former movie theater. It's straight. So like you are here, you cannot do anything else by watching the band.
Okay, cool.
There's no like pool tables and bullshit when people get distracted. This is a music venue.
I like, that happens with comedy a lot because you just throw it wherever the hell you can and TVs going and shit.
People watching like NHL and then like playing pool, and you're like,
"Ooh, shut the fuck up with those jokes over there."
You know what?
Overtime.
Fun fact about the Fox, it actually used to be a porn theater.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It was
Alexi
like an adult
coming in with
more.
the facts.
I don't know. Well, I don't know like when that was, but I know that that's what it was before they turned it into a venue.
A porn theater.
Yeah.
Russian
how
porn?
hard was the porn?
Russian porn.
What is that? What is a porn? That's not like, that's like like movies?
Yeah, they used to have like.
I've never been to a porn movie.
Yeah.
I don't think they exist anymore. I think it's
I think
too much
everyone
of a
watches it at home now
liability.
because you can't.
Yeah, the idea of like, I guess now with us having porn nowadays, obviously that you
Accessible.
watch that in private.
I think so. Yeah. It's,
But
yeah.
the idea of it being in public, I guess that's in the days where like people would go to the theater to like watch the news.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
I think that was like same time period, maybe.
That's
interesting.
wild. Yeah. Imagine just being like, "Hey, Tim, what are you doing tonight? Want to go watch some porn at a theater?"
Great idea. Let's do it.
It might be a good way. I don't know. Maybe for a date, like, I mean, if they say
straightforward.
yes, you're probably getting laid, I would think, or I don't know.
But yeah, as long as people had fun, and I assume they did.
I would think so. Although they're not around anymore, so I don't know if it has something to do with it. But that is probably the fact that it's best watched in privacy for obvious reasons. Yeah, there's a venue above the theater that I did comedy at.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised I ever got out of because there's about 8 million stairs.
Yeah.
And I had like 5 comedians get me in and out. So I wouldn't expect that was where the show is, but I didn't get a chance to check out the theater. So that's cool.
Yeah, so I think
Stoked
it's
to see you guys there.
Projection Room. That's the venue where you were.
Yeah.
You performed. But yeah, just a little kind of like bar area, and then below there's like the whole porn theater situation.
Fuck yeah. And Pulley's playing there in March too. That's why that was sort of on my mind because I saw they were playing there and I was like, I want to see it. So you guys are there
same.
too?
Yeah.
November 20th. All right, man. Anything else you want to add or what?
No, I'm just gonna promote the band. We called Russian Tim and Pavel Bures. We're super fun. You might not understand what the hell we're saying or what we're singing about, but we will compensate with the great dance moves, colorful outfits, and me smiling.
And do you have a website or Instagram wherever people can find your shows?
All over the place. Russian Tim and Pavel Bures, Instagram, Facebook, and the Bandcamp page where we have all the music and obviously all the Spotify's and all the digital platforms.
So if you want like good, happy, fun punk rock music and a kick-ass workout, fucking, this is where you find it. Russian Tim and the Pavel Bures. All right, man. Thanks.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that wraps her up for an interview with Russian Tim from Russian Tim and the Pavel Bures. Be sure to check them out. Amazing band, amazing group of people. So much energy, so much fun. I'm going to wish every single one of you happy holidays from the podcast and the whole team here. And yes, just thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all of you listeners, all of you watchers, followers, all that, the support. Shout out to all the guests who've been on for being generous with your time. And this has been a fun 9 months, and looking forward to going into 2022 and keeping things going and seeing what comes of it. We've got some sick, rad guests lined up. And yes, so I thank you all.
Больших надежд и продуктивного безделья. Эту тревогу в душе и ожидание время. Мы точно знали, кем мы стать хотели. И солнце задержится над домами, чтобы мы вдоволь помечтали. Последние дни лета нам обещают, что счастье